YouTube, Brian Phillips. We're gonna open up this box and see what's inside. It's gonna be amazing. Welcome to Brian Phillips RC. We unbox them, we build them, we set up the radio if we need to, and then we fly them. We show you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And we're gonna help you guys make your purchase decision. And today, it's gonna be amazing. What do we have here? Oh, look at this. It's a UH-60L Blackhawk, but it's small. And that is why I'm excited to do this, because it's new and it's small. And not everybody can afford to get a huge Huey, but you might be able to afford to get a smaller one. And we want to see if it's any good, because sometimes when we see these things, they suck, and we bring that to you so you can make a decision on which one you want. Okay, so here goes nothing. Well packaged. You ever miss the days when everything we got in this size class came in a garbage bag?
Nope.
I don't either. So by the way, we were just gonna mention that, remember those days, if you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. We kind of don't work with them so much anymore because they suck. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Check out the links. Should have a coupon code for you too, to make it cheaper than the other place that ships everything in a garbage bag.
Yes.
All right, so obviously we have a giant gun here. We have giant guns and troops. Pretty cool, amazing. Let's see what it looks like inside the package. And what is special about this one is that this is all new from, who is this from?
XK.
This is the K170. Now, if you guys don't know this, back in the day, years ago, we did a couple of reviews for XK products, and then for whatever reason, like we didn't run into them too often. It was always like, we'd always get to them by the third or fourth manufacturer. So this is kind of exciting for us. Kind of brings us back to where we started on some of this. Okay, so that's empty, everything from the box. This is a ready to fly. I don't even know if you can get it in less than a ready to fly.
I don't believe so.
Know? Okay, so we'll show you what it's like. Instruction manual, we're gonna obviously not read that.
No.
You can set this so that you have landing pad. It's also a nice mouse pad. I don't know if they add that. I'm wondering if they add that. Okay. And then look, we've got this. All right, we'll put that out of the way. And it looks like we have a helicopter. We're gonna have to tell them to stop putting those labels on there.
Yeah,
I do not like that.
Ugly.
This is a gorgeous helicopter though. Look at that. And by the way, that does come off.
You peel it off.
Yeah, look, it's like a thick sticker. It's got some thickness to it, but we're gonna take that off right now. So Sterling kit, note to self, do not put labels on my aircraft, please. Thank you, we don't like them. So you can see I took half of it off. Now the good thing is, what is this? Oh, this is how you take off to actually get to your battery. Oh. And look how small this is. That is so dinky. I am just loving the size. It's so small. And I love the tail feathers. Beautiful marks and everything. Actually, this is really well marked. The only thing I don't like, what? Hold on, squish my tires.
Wait, are they really?
They are.
They are.
They're soft, they're like little O-rings.
Yeah.
That is so sweet, and they do roll. Even the tail wheel, that is so awesome. Look, it's squishy, guys. We have
super detailed.
If I can get a squishy tire on my tiny little, what is this thing? This is
a Blackhawk.
Blackhawk.
Yeah.
On my tiny Blackhawk, why can't we get squishy tires on our airplanes? If you're listening, people. Now, one other very cool thing about this is it comes with a little stand, and this stand just slips into these two grooves, and it actually has a pretty good little bite into it, okay? So that holds it. See, it's held pretty good. And I love that. That's really nice because there's so many of these helicopters we have, and when you put them on a stand like this, you can nest them better and put them into a cool flying position. So that's pretty neat. And it does come in the kit, so you don't have to spend any extra money. You just snap these things together. Now, full disclosure, once you snap it together, it might be kind of hard to get back in the kit. Let's show the people. Snap it in, goes all the way in. If you want to undo it, you have to push those back together and then pull it out. Okay, and then the bag of goodies comes with spare props. It looks like it's got 4 blades, which is good. Sometimes when they have 4 blades, they don't want to send all 4. And then they have an extra main gear and then an extra tail rotor. Yeah, but it's not marked. See, not marked. And then a screwdriver with a Phillips tip, and then looks like an Allen key. Okay, so that's pretty good. And then a USB, ooh, this is the most important part. USB cable charger, and it goes to this micro plug, this like low-C style connector. And let's see what we got for a transmitter in here. Big enough for adult size Starlink kit. Don't mind stickers here, by the way.
Yeah.
I do mind them on the helicopter, so we're gonna be taking that off. Okay, so that's take off land button and then some sort of a speed button. I like that they're labeled clearly. Don't know what those do. Good spring pressure there. Brings it back to the center on both sides. Power switch, lanyard attachment point. Feels light and cheap. Trimmer buttons and 2.4 gigahertz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sheesh.
Good Lord, we're gonna have to spend like $1 on Harbor Freight batteries. Okay, so that's there. Does not come with the with the AA's, by the way. Okay, so that completes our unbox portion. They included a snack, see?
Oh, good.
Yeah. The thing I like about small helicopters is that they are more or less designed to fly inside, okay? And of course, here it is. It's getting to be close to spring here in Iowa. And so we're gonna be able to fly outside. I do not know if this thing's gonna do it outside, okay? And by the way, I gotta say, these blades are really beautiful. I love that they painted.
Yes.
The tips,
Very cool.
that is gorgeous. And then I don't know if this is going to fly any good, but we're gonna find out right now. But my first step is I gotta get this thing open. So I'm gonna just take a seat here. We're gonna see about popping this open. If you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, what we do on this channel, I mentioned it earlier, is we unbox, build, and radio setup. There's not much radio setup involved in a ready to fly because it's already set up for you. Okay, so you just pull this right there. So you just pull that, and then this walks off. See, there's a little tab there and a tab there. Got the Starlink kit all over my finger. See, down a little bit. Okay, it slides out. You can see where it clips. So it clips right here, 1, 2, and then 3. This is the bigger one, so you'll want to compress here first and then compress here second, okay? It's always scary to do that when it's your first time doing it. Now also this thing, why do I feel like I'm in a department store as a kid?
I know, it is kind of odd.
How do you break these off? It's been so long. I suppose you could just rip it.
You still have your knife in your pocket?
No, I didn't need a tool, so that worked out okay. And then if you could just, oh, they do have instructions. Show the people the instructions.
Oh gosh.
And then the battery comes out, pretty easy to get to. Looks like we're talking about an 800 milliamp hour. This is a 3.8 volt. Okay, so that's a lithium pack, and it's just one single cell, so you can tell it's just one cell. It looked like maybe it was two that was in parallel, but it's actually just one. And then we got this low-C style connector. And I'm gonna show you two charging techniques. Number one, obviously with the ready to run or the ready to fly. We're gonna start by showing you what the voltages are. And you're probably thinking, how are you gonna stick that in there? It's got the wrong type of connector. Well, not really. You can usually get them in there. Just make sure your polarity is right, okay? Okay, so was it enough to juice it up? It doesn't look like it might have, it doesn't look like it is. See, it's not waking it up. So if it doesn't wake it up, then the alternative would be to grab like one of these little Predator or other brands. Make sure you get your polarity. So there's negative. So put the negative down there, plug it in, should beep for us. Yeah, there you go, one cell, 3.88. Okay, so the reason I show that is because I want you to see that this is actually working as a charger. Just run-of-the-mill, low wattage, nothing special here. Plug this in, just got that with one of our kids' tablets or whatever. Undo the tangle, undo the wire, plug it into your outlet. You can do your laptop or whatever it is. And then this is keyed, so it only goes one way. Once you plug that in, did the light condition change?
It did, it was green and then it changed to red when you plugged it in.
So green means go, red means I'm still charging. So we'll come back to that in just a quick second. But in the meantime, I'm gonna whip out the charger that we'll probably actually use is this one. This is a Spectrum product. It's called a micro lipo charger. And the thing I like about this is it's got 4 different charger stations. And so like many times when the kids are out, they're flying like little 400 millimeter planes or 500 millimeter planes, we'll bring this thing out and we can charge our batteries 4 at a time. So real quick, we'll just whip this out. We'll show you, it's called a Molex connector. So you see this is keyed. You can use a JST, Molex, Ultra Micro, or PH 2.0. Okay, so just plug this in. and then it's gonna populate the screen with the voltage. I wanna go ahead and charge this at 0.8 amps. That would be 1C, okay? So there's 0.8 amps, because this is 800 milliamp hours, and then you can see your voltage as it's charging. So it already went from 3.88 to 3.9, okay? And then you can see right here, if you don't know how to read these labels, it says right here, 800 milliamp hours. You getting it out of the glare?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's good.
And it's 3.04 watt hours. So that just depicts how fast it can discharge. This charger, full disclosure, will be way faster than this little included charger.
Yep.
This is not included. It costs around 50, 60 bucks.
Something like that.
It's good money spent because you're gonna use it time and time and time and time again. And if you get a handful of these little helicopters or little airplanes, you're gonna wanna have something like this, because the provided chargers are good enough to get the job done, but they're not fantastic.
And you can buy the Heli with more than one battery,
Yes.
but it's only gonna come with one charger. And so you're gonna wait for your charge every single time if you have the micro LiPo charger.
Another suggestion, put your blades back into the box, even if you plan on keeping things out, okay? And then put your box away where you store your boxes. Because one thing we've learned over the years, and we have a lot of RC products, whether it be airplanes, quads, VTOLs. I mean, look at our Christmas tree. It is March.
Shh, don't tell the people that. It's still January. It's totally fine.
No, it's March.
There's nowhere for a tree to go.
So we have little airplanes in the tree. Those airplanes are the types of airplanes that would have a box like this.
Yeah.
And so my suggestion to you is, as you kind of organize your boxes and stuff, put them down there in your storage room, and then you can go back and find the blades, because it's really hard to find the blades otherwise. Now, the alternative that we have also had good luck with is I have a big bag of just all the blades. And a lot of times you can go down and find a similar size, but with these 4 bladed creations, you have to replace all 4 blades. So keep that in mind. Now, is this a Starlink kit thing?
I don't know. I've seen that in some of the newer Helis. I don't know if they're just doing that more frequently.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, and then obviously don't plan on landing on this thing.
No.
So good packaging, seems like a beautiful product. Obviously we need a minute or two to charge that, so we're gonna grab some AA's and come right back. All right, so while we're waiting on the battery to charge, we're gonna go ahead and put in these alkaline batteries. They're not provided with the helicopter. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Stop me if you get bored. You might need to pause and come back, guys. This is gonna take a while. So as you can see, the flat goes to the spring, and then the bump goes to the other side. And you can see it's also labeled in there. So if you guys don't know that, I would be really surprised. But here on Brian Phillips RC, we don't want to poke fun at anybody who doesn't understand technology stuff. That's why we're here. Okay, so the light comes on, it starts flashing, there's a beep. Okay, good. So we can shut that back off. We'll come back to this in a minute. Now that that's ready to rock and roll, we've got the nose off. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how we're gonna get the rest of the Starlink kit off. Because truth is, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And this, full disclosure, for any branding efforts, the K170 blends, it's not a big deal, I don't mind it. I have no problems with stickers on transmitters, I don't mind. And this is, it's always funny when your marketing partners are the ones that are taking your marketing efforts off, but we're gonna do it every time, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a trick of the day, guys. You watch Brian Phillips RC because I teach you how to do things like this. Many of you know these things, by the way. It's not like I'm in some bubble. I work within a hobby of hundreds of thousands of people that have done stuff just like we do. We just share it, okay? So a little drip, you're like, what is that crap on there? That crap on there is just CA, because I like to dip the tip. And then guess what that kicker is gonna do? That kicker is gonna help take this decal, or the sticker off in this case, really, really, really easy, because once you get up under an edge, that's gonna pull, and then all that stuff will just pop right off, and it'll come off without any trouble at all, because it breaks down the actual adhesive. And if you didn't already know that, this works really good for stickers and stuff like that. It's not supposed to, it's a side effect. It's kind of like, see, you just do that. And then if you don't want to use the back end of that, you could just grab a Q-tip, which I know everybody has those in their kitchen. It's a normal thing, perfectly normal thing to do. And then just get in there, and I'm just using the edge of my fingernail to pop it off, and there it goes. This is actually a really high quality sticker, by the way. It's beautiful. I just wish it was, I just wish it wasn't right in the middle of my freaking aircraft that I love. And by the way, I gotta say, this thing is absolutely gorgeous for being a small helicopter. So now that it's done mostly, I'm gonna show you. you can just take this and it will just break down that adhesive, but it won't take off the finish from the plastic, okay? And then once you're done with that, maybe just give it a quick once over. Now you're probably thinking, why not just use isopropyl alcohol or something like that, Brian? Well, you could do that too, but it's gonna run the risk of taking off the finish, okay? So now look at that. It's gonna be totally good. Once it's dry, it's gonna be totally good. Oh, look, we have a pass 40. I'm gonna take that off too. That one, of course, is a quality control sample thing. So I'm gonna take that, beautiful. And then over here, we have to do one more side. So of course, we'll do that off camera because it's identical, unless I come up with something super important to say. But I gotta say, oh, there's also a light right here. Sweet, and a light right here, awesome.
Oh, cool.
Okay, guys, these helis are getting so good. And by the way, I gotta say, if you're gonna put a sticker, it is a pretty cool sticker.
I wish they just put it in the package, and if you want to put your sticker on,
then put it on. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Or put it on your transmitter case, or put it on your bag you take to the field, or whatever.
Ooh, this one's coming off better though. So guys, I would do this for any branding partner that puts a sticker on my beautiful scale replica aircraft. If this is, like a sport helicopter or like a,
something that's not scale. That's like just
like the recent 235 we did. So it'd be like a pod and boom sort of helicopter. Then I wouldn't care. Or some of the Flywing products we've done in the past have had different. It's more of just like a sport finish.
Yeah. Even if it was like the civilian version that's white and red or something like that would look less.
Yeah. But this is going to happen every time. So anyway, we'll pause and come right back and share the results. All right, so I'm all done. And as you can see, it came off perfectly. We got no residual and no residual. And that's why we wanted to show that, is because a lot of times, it got a little bit of drippage here. This kicker is such a nice tool to have if you're trying to debond China glue. And we debond China glue a lot when we have a problem because I run into things at a high rate of speed. So anyway, you can see the after effects. Yeah, you'll know that was Starling Kit.
Yeah.
If you ever get that paper towel
Sorry.
from the garbage. Okay, so we're still charging. Let's check the charge level real quick. Camera crew, if you want to walk over there, I'll put away the kicker.
Okay.
So one of the reasons we really like this charger is that you can also be appraised of exactly where your charge level is at a given time.
We're at 4.2 right now, but it hasn't beeped, and this light will turn green when it's actually done, so it should be any second.
And there is a little bit of a misnomer on batteries, and this is a common misnomer. It's something that I have fallen prey to it a few times. When you have a battery, there's a certain amount of capacity in the battery, and just because the voltage is so far doesn't mean it's fully charged. Because when you charge a battery, you have to apply a higher charge than what the battery is at, and that draws it up, okay? In this case, this charger is going to bring it up to charge, and it's gonna sit at 4.2 for some time before it's fully charged, okay? And I don't know if the charge controller just watches for it to go up and then lets it lag, and then watches and lets it lag, and watches and lets it lag until it stops lagging. But there is some sort of a control circuit involved, okay? I hope I'm not trying to overcomplicate things, but I want you guys to understand that it is being handled by the charger. Now in this case, if you go over to the cheap charger, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what happens if you pull this out without stopping it. It goes to 33 error, you can click to stop that. Okay, and then when I plug this back in, I can press and hold, okay? And then it's gonna come over here so you're more square. See, you can see what's happening. See 4.14, okay? So the idea being, when you charge a battery, you have to get it charged fully, okay? And so when you let off that voltage, let's say you're charging at 4.25 volts to draw up the pack, eventually, it's gonna achieve a certain level and it's gonna stay there, and then the charger knows it's complete. That's when this is gonna beep, okay? Now, on a more sophisticated charger like this, you can see how many milliamps actually got forced into the battery. Now, if you're really, really anal retentive like me, then yes, you'll make some sort of an adapter that looks like this, and you'll have all sorts of different plugs and things like this, and then you can actually charge your 1S packs on that charger, and you can see how many milliamps you actually forced into it. But most people are not quite as crazy as I am, and I do have an adapter somewhere in here. Sorry, it was in the middle of a second adapter rack. So some people are crazy like me and they make little adapters like this. And these adapters allow you to parallel charge your batteries. Just remember, if you do parallel charging, meaning you plug the positives and the negatives all together, and then you go into an adapter like this, you just need to make sure that you're careful that you have a similar amount of discharge on each of the packs, okay? So I'm gonna show you how this would work. So we'll plug this in. That gets us to our EC3 connector, which is compatible with IC3. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button to stop it. Okay, then I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna plug this in. Watch this. Plug this in, now watch this. No battery detected. Plug this in, 4.1 volts. Now I can press this. I wanna change this from 4 to 1S. I'm gonna charge it at whatever rate I want. So in this case, I can charge at 0.8 amps, and then I can go to start. Continue without balancing, and then look at this. Fast charge done, and it's still gonna keep track of the milliamps that go into it, okay? And then you can see, it doesn't show a voltage here, but it shows 4.1, 4.2, okay? So now the other thing you can do is if you ever get a battery and you wanna charge it extra slow, you can kick this down, or you can charge it extra fast and you can kick it up. So 1.6 is about as fast as I would try to charge it. It's gonna immediately be done. Okay, so let's let it start. See? And that's one thing you'll find when you try to charge a really small battery on a more bigger circuit like this, is it sometimes tricks it into thinking it's done, because it's actually not done. Okay, if you ever try to charge one and you really want to trickle charge it all the way up to 100%, here's another trick. This might work, I'll show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and press the back button. Oh, I gotta press and hold. Sorry guys. I'm gonna change this all the way down to half C. And you're probably thinking, what does this C rating you're talking about? What is this thing you're talking about? See, now it's charging and it just jumps right to full. That's so annoying. But we have seen that before in the smart chargers, okay? But I wanted to show you guys you can do that. So if you had a bunch of these batteries, say you got 4 or 3, and you don't want to buy this, and you've already got one of those, all you have to do is build yourself a little adapter like this. And then you can get these cables, these Molex connectors, and you wouldn't have to necessarily put an XT60 on there that then requires an adapter. You could just go straight to an EC3 or an IC3, either way that meets your fancy. But I just like having options when it comes to charging, because at the end of the day, when people fly these helicopters, they're not just flying these helicopters, they're flying these helicopters and they're having to learn how to charge the batteries, and they're having to figure out how to do it safely, and how to identify when a battery is bad, and if it starts getting puffed up, when do I throw it away, and all these things. We're gonna try to help you with that on Brian Phillips RC, because at the end of the day, it's not just about flying a helicopter or trying to talk you into buying the latest and greatest product or whatever it is. We're actually really trying to get you guys up to speed on exactly how you can live this lifestyle with us. And at the end of the day, we want to help bring you guys up to speed so you can enjoy it as much as possible, okay? So now that that battery is getting really close, dangerously close to being done, we're gonna go ahead and show you how to charge it. Now, full disclosure, let's say it's 98% charge or 97% charge. It's good enough for our video because we're not gonna be flying it for 20 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this. In order to load it, it looks like this lead is not very long, so we'll go ahead and slide this in. There's not much resistance, but it's gonna be held in by the front, okay? So with a helicopter, historically, my rule of thumb with aircraft is to turn on the transmitter first. I always do that first, even if that's not necessary. I'm gonna actually put the landing pad over here. And if we decide to land on it, we can land on it over here, okay? But the idea is I wanna be in full command and control of an aircraft. However, there's one exception to that, and that is when we do small helicopters. Small helicopters and airplanes sometimes call for this to be on second. And so we're gonna find out, but I err on the side of turn this on first and then plug in the battery for the first go round, okay? So the other thing too is this is small enough you don't have to worry about it cutting your face off, but it could still hurt you, so be careful please, all right? So now you can also plug this in first and then slide it in, or you can slide it in and then plug it in. It looks like on this one it's gonna be a little easier to plug it in first. It's keyed, you can only do it the right way. And then you can slide this back down in, and we're just gonna let this sit for a second. And as you can see, it's flashing and it's flashing, so they haven't found each other, so I'm gonna turn this off. And then whilst that's flashing, I'm gonna turn this back on. And that's gonna be how you actually get the connection, I assume. Or there's another button you might have to do, which would be up and down, okay? So that brings it to life. That doesn't start it, but you can see this is solid, solid, and solid. That means we're connected, okay? Now, I'm gonna just slide this in here, and this battery lead doesn't like something. It's caught on this little green thing. That green thing is caught. So I'm gonna see if I can, ooh, did you see what just happened?
Did it
Whoa. Unplugged. You guys see what's going on here? When I'm moving this, it's either breaking contact at the connector, or or it just didn't get plugged in all the way. I need to figure out right now, because I don't like it that at all. And you see this, there's a screw that goes through this little plastic, and then it holds that little knob, holds the battery tray. And I'm feeling like that's the electronic speed controller. Is it possible something over here is disconnected? These are all silicone lines, by the way. I need to just look super close. You see that pin, how they're kind of pointed toward each other? Mm-hmm. I'm just picking up details to make sure we don't have a broken connector somewhere. That feels like it's solid. Let's try plugging this in again, because if that breaks contact halfway, it's gonna crash. Okay, I've got it plugged in all the way now. Maybe I didn't have it all the way in, guys, because it stopped doing it. Okay. So you definitely want to check that on yours. Okay, now let's try putting the lid on. You see the problem is this is only going to go a certain direction, right? Because you don't have enough length to do anything else, right? You see, you can't quite reach to do it the other way. There's a little bit extra length you can maybe steal out of there. There we go. Now I can get that to the center so that it should go on. Okay. So top first is my suggestion, and then bottom last. Make sure you get all the way outside. See how it popped in there? Push it down a little bit. Just making sure it's all aligned for the first time. I'm gonna try to snap this on. There we go. Okay, so it snapped on. Whew, that was kind of scary. Okay, so now that that's there, now this is solid, so I might have to reboot this. Up, then down. I'm gonna move these out by hand, even though they would swing out and centripetal force would square them up. I'm gonna do that anyway. Now, this helicopter is small enough, I'm comfortable taking off without, doing a whole lot more due diligence, like maybe reading a manual or whatever. I don't think that's absolutely necessary, but we're just gonna see how this works. Usually take off, it could spring to life and hit this light. So if you have a light that's low, maybe just make sure it's out of the way of a light. But also, if you're new to flying helicopters, this little edge, the air can go down and cause weird currents. So just be aware that there are certain things you want to do to give yourself the best chance at success. So I'm just gonna try hitting it. Nothing, okay? Down and out, arms it, then up. Oh yeah, you guys see what I was talking about. Okay, so it's drifting slightly away from the camera crew. So I'm gonna give it just a click of trim to go that way. See, now it's coming back toward the camera crew. Click a trim the other way. I'm gonna lower it down just a little bit by pressing down on there. Bring it back to me. And I'm gonna lean it away from me just a hair. There, now it's center. Okay, now back one. See, it's just wanting to walk away from us. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But otherwise, it's pretty much doing its thing, guys. Okay, so I don't know what speed it's in by default. What I'm gonna do is I'll go up just a little bit and just start giving it some turns. You guys see I'm barely giving it any input. Those lights really help with visibility, by the way, and it makes it look cool.
Yeah, it does.
I love the way that it hangs in the sky. It's got a little bit of a cant to the right, and this is just yaw. You see how it's walking in a circle? That's not uncommon on some of these smaller ones. I'll go up just a hair so you got a better backdrop. Coordinating my turns. See if we can bring it down. Try to stay away from that light fixture. Oh man, that looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it does.
Easy to control. Love the way that the main rotor looks. The main rotor is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you guys could see that. I'm gonna bring it right over by the island. The camera crew is gonna get in there for a closer shot, but just, you gotta give me room to move. This thing is not the most precise helicopter ever. Okay, go up over the top. You guys see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Look at those lines. That is so dang gorgeous. So now I wanna point out something. When I give it only yaw, it moves a lot. You see that? How far back it goes? Goodness gracious. And the precision of up-down control is definitely not what we've seen in some of the more sophisticated and admittedly a lot more expensive helicopters. But man, that thing is gorgeous. You could definitely get used to it. It's just got a really wide berth when you try to move it. Like that's just rudder. I almost demonstrated the durability there when I hit the, almost hit the kitchen faucet. So guys, I think that we found one of the flaws in the flight controller, and there's not a lot of lean allowed. When you let go, it still moves forward quite a bit. I've been just kind of drifting, okay? So now, if it doesn't hold its exact altitude, that might be because there isn't any sort of an optical flow sensor, and that's okay, because you can't get everything with every helicopter. It definitely wants to get back to level aggressively. And so because it's aggressive, when you let go, it might look kind of bad doing it. And it's also like really, it just got like really pushed hard. I don't know why there. Let's try to take a landing here. When I say take a landing, I'm gonna try to fly it in and land it, okay? Holy cow. Look at that ground effect. I'm holding it down and it just doesn't wanna land. It wants to keep flying forward. So, I think what's going on is you have to hit this button to actually tell it you're trying to land, otherwise it tries to keep flying, okay? So I'm gonna hit the land button and then it goes down. So I hit this land button here and that put it on the ground. Now, this thing jumps to a lot of altitude for being such a small heli. So I'm actually gonna pick it up and move it over here. And I'm gonna show you what the one-touch takeoff looks like. Nothing. You have to arm it first. Armed, down and out, and then press the button. Press the button. There it goes. The altitude is just a lot. And then I am having to actively fly it a little bit. So it's leaning back quite a bit. So I think what I want to do is I want to figure out if there's a way to gyro calibrate this thing, because it's just wanting to lean a lot. But boy, oh boy, that thing looks so good. You hear it fighting? I can feel it. It's crazy. It's freaking out right now. It's like trying to push down. So if you ever get this in your hand and you want to let go of it, it's fighting really hard. I gave it some input. I'm going to hit land. And then it stops, okay? So I do like the immediacy of the stop if you would ever Enrique it like I just did, AKA catch it in the air. Okay, a couple things. There's also multiple speed settings. So we're gonna see what the speed settings do. And then there's these buttons. I don't know that they do anything, but you can tell that you can trim. So if the helicopter wants to walk to the right like this, then you would just trim to the left. It's as though you're holding the stick to the left to resist, but it just predetermines it. Then these two buttons don't always make the adjustments you would think, because obviously you're not gonna trim your throttle. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this again. So down and out. You can also press the up, and it looks like it's just a launch. It's just gonna emulate what this button does, and then it's gonna go back to its normal mode, modus operandi, which would be flying, telling it to go up. If you press the stick up a little bit, it goes up, it's a little aggressive, it goes down. It's pretty subtle going down, but going up, and I gotta say, the thing looks just fantastic. I mean, I am just loving watching it fly around. Now, I gotta say, I'm not like really super thrilled with the controllability. I feel like it's a little bit weak on controllability, but boy, oh boy, does it look awesome being out of control. So I'm gonna press the button, change my speed. There's 2 beeps, now 3 beeps, now 1 beep. So 3 speed settings. So I'm gonna go to the highest speed here. Oh yeah, it's way faster now. Obviously that's gonna allow it to be quicker to control, both up and down. It's also gonna give you better yaw authority. It doesn't seem to lose its position as bad. That's kind of weird. See that? I totally didn't expect that. So in speed mode 3, it seems to actually give you better control. Now, keep in mind, I'm not really a very good helicopter pilot. I'm more of an airplane pilot, if anything. And yes, I do know how to fly a helicopter, but I don't fly them without a bunch of, you know, flight controllers and flight aids. You know what I'm forgetting?
What?
Oh, it just started flashing.
Oh.
Okay, so let's see how long it goes before it crashes. I want to see if we can just get it on the island. So I'm gonna just try to hover it here. Okay. Changing to speed 1. Because it's good to know how long it's gonna last. Because sometimes these things fall like rocks when you start getting a low voltage alarm.
That's a pretty decent amount of time to respond.
Yeah, so far. And I gotta say, what a sweet looking helicopter though. And I gotta say, my expectations on small helis are usually pretty low. I don't expect them to fly that good just because they're super small. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. Still haven't fallen.
And this one is pretty economical in terms of scale.
Okay, I'm hitting the land button because I don't want to crash it.
Okay.
All right, it stopped. So, in terms of flight time, what do we got on the time?
I don't know when we started. I think we're about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that seems about right. Now, remember, we weren't 100% fully charged. We were close. But boy, oh boy, once you get that Starlink kit sticker off of there, absolutely gorgeous. The thing looks amazing in the air. It is amazing. Here, let's see if we can stand over here. Camera crew's gonna go around me. Look at just how detailed it is. And this is the K170. I've got a little hair on there or something. I got it off of there. And this, of course, is a blade cutter. There should actually be one on the bottom too. And that is so dang gorgeous. And I love that they have the wiper blades on there. And I love that the rivets, they're a little bit exaggerated, but that's what you want to see on small stuff because otherwise they won't show up. And I gotta say, in terms of flight characteristics, it's still kind of like a flyby suggestion sort of feel. But it's not hard to take off, it's not hard to land. I don't like that it jumps so high, but I can tolerate it because it is, after all, a flybarless controller. And it is extremely small. And just the amazing detail. I mean, this is getting so good. We have seen so many beautiful, the Blackhawks in particular. I don't know why I was getting mixed up between Hueys, but we've had some really good Blackhawks in recent vintage, but they're full on what I call GPS heli drones. And GPS heli drones, of course, are gonna connect to GPS. They're going to be able to return to home. They'll do flight patterns and things like this. This helicopter is not gonna do that. This is gonna be, to me, it feels like it's probably gonna be an indoor helicopter. Let's show them the wind. It's really pointed right at us today. Yep. So if we had the damn runway built, we'd have wind going not quite perfectly down the damn runway. But helicopters, they open up the flight envelope so that you can fly in wind. If they're big enough. Okay, this thing is probably still too small to fly in that type of wind condition. But in that type of wind condition, you can fly in your living room, which is really nice. And I love that. Now, full disclosure, I gotta say, and this is one of the reasons why we do this channel, is because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people online that are just saying everything is perfect. This thing, where it makes up for its beautiful looks, it lacks a little bit in controllability. We have seen a number of different helicopters that like to really cant hard. And it's usually when they have a simulated ducted fan instead of a ducted fan. And a ducted fan would be too complicated to scale down in some helicopters. And so on this helicopter, I feel like we get good enough controls, but if you give this to the kid, don't expect them to not have a crash here and there, because you do have to be Johnny on the spot getting it. Once it's in the air, it wants to immediately drift pretty bad. Now also we do run a large, what is that, a 72-inch
fan?
It's a pretty big fan. It moves a lot of air, and obviously we have, you know, HVAC system in this house. It's a big room to be able to fly this stuff. 16 foot in the ceiling gives you a lot of headspace. So if you're flying in an 8-foot ceiling, remember, it could just about hit. I mean, that's pretty close to 8 feet actually. In fact, I wanna tell people that, because if you take off from your dining room table, this might be kind of helpful information. How high are these? Are adjustable, by the way. So we have those set to about 4'7"
on top of 36.
On top of 36. So what is that? 4'7" plus 36. I don't want to do the math. Math on camera is a non-starter for Brian Phillips RC. So let's just call that. There's 8 feet. Okay. So you can see 8 feet. Yeah, it's almost exactly 8 feet. So if you took off and you were under an 8-foot ceiling from your dining room table or from your countertop, you might actually hit the ceiling, and that'd be a bummer. So take off from the floor and then fly around your living room. You should be fine. Now, the other thing we found is that these things are really good at knocking out of the way, so you're limited on damage to the walls. We point this out almost every time we do a helicopter video, but as you can see right up here, we've got those 3 little scrapes in the drywall. And I always point that out because, you know, we live RC in this lifestyle. I get away with it. Some of you may end up dead. So I point it out because some of you don't have the supportive camera crew on your side. You might have a wife that's maybe not into this, or maybe your husband isn't into it and you're into it. But the point is, we want you guys to get the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. We don't really care which helicopter, quad VTOL helicopter, in this case, that you choose to get. We just want you to be really satisfied with it when you do get it. And that being said, I gotta say, it's still really easy to fly. It's got a barometric height sensor is what it's supposed to have. So because it's not using an optical flow sensor, I just think the barometer is probably cheap on it, because I felt like it did a pretty good job of holding altitude, but we've seen tighter.
But for the price point,
it's very cheap, guys.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I'm surprised, because it's an XK product. Usually XK products are pretty good. The cat just about got that bird.
At least she didn't go over the edge like she almost did last time.
Yeah, she looked like she was about ready to go over the edge.
Yeah.
So guys, we love helicopters. We love RC airplanes and quads and VTOLs and all this stuff. We love being able to teach you what we can learn from a basic flight and seeing how they're gonna perform in a real world environment. The reason we're not outside flying this is because I just don't think it's gonna do that great. Doesn't mean you couldn't fly it outside, and we probably still will try to take a flight if we can get it to calm down out here through sheer mind force.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Probably not.
But without further ado, if you guys wanna get one and help support Brian Phillips RC and the things that we do to support the RC community, check out the links in the video description below. We'll link, and we'll also include a coupon code. So when you follow the link, we'll be commissioned by the different companies that we work with, in this case, this company, and you will help support Brian Phillips RC directly. But then you can also use that coupon code and get a little discount, save a few bucks yourself. So definitely check that out. And by the way, if you're not used to following links, just remember on Brian Phillips RC, our big thing is we wanna help you guys pick the right thing. We don't care which one you pick, so long as you're picking something. And when you do follow those links, that is really how we fund this channel. Because remember, long format content is like a bad word for YouTube, okay? And we do it, that's all we do. We've had like 10-hour videos, which is insane. Most people don't watch that, by the way. And we don't wanna fault anybody who needs a quick answer. Been there, done that. We do it all the time. But this helicopter is good. I think you're gonna be satisfied with it. I'm not sure about the mouse pad, but you know, if you're into that sort of thing, you can use it. I definitely like this helicopter. I think it's a good pick. It's not gonna be the best. It's not gonna be the worst. We've had a lot worse flying helicopters over the years, but this one is good. Now also, real quick, if you're thinking about back in yesteryear, can you film in here right now?
I think so.
Okay, film over here.
I'll be careful.
So we've got all these. These were some of the original OGs right here. These are XK products, okay? So now you'll notice they're a little dusty and a little bit ugly, and well, it's next to an E-Flight product. Just remember you pan up, okay? Yeah. We can't show you that back corner because that's where all our new stuff is. It's been a long time since we did our first few helicopter videos. And I have come a long ways as a pilot, and the technology has gotten a lot better, okay? So just remember, when you're looking for something like this, there are some things that have gotten worse. Those things gave us the ability to go in and change the pitch and throttle curve, and I felt like they were a better teaching utility for people that wanted to learn to fly helicopters, okay? Because they helped us start understand, oh, this is the collective. And this, by the way, this is kind of not a collective, okay? Because you're just flying by suggestion. You're just saying like, go up, go down, you know, go down and land, you know, hit the speed, changes the speed. This is really kind of more like toy grade. It's kind of in the hybrid area. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but you just talked about GPS heli drone. We just did one the other day. It's like $1,300+, okay? And it's beautiful right there, that 300. So when you buy a helicopter, just remember, there's a lot of different features, and it's very hard to tell when you go to a Chinese website. They will many times use renderings to show you what the product looks like and not the actual product. So that's part of the reason why people like us exist on YouTube and in this space, because we're gonna show it in all its true colors. We're gonna show it with the stupid labels that have to be removed to make it look gorgeous. We're gonna show all the annoying steps along with the good steps, because we're trying to help give you guys the no BS, full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, because it's hard-earned money. We get it, guys. And that being said, Starlink Kit has been good so far. We haven't heard a lot of complaints from people. We did hear one thing, and it was a scam, and they were stealing their name. So that's bad. You guys always have to be careful about that. It could be Amazon, it could be Walmart, it could be some big, you know, Horizon Hobbies of the world. Remember, if it's a scam artist, there's nobody that can get totally away from that. Just be careful where you're going. Follow our links. They're going to take you to legit places. And if you ever see a link that's broken, let us know in the comments below. And we do appreciate that. We've had probably 20 or 30 times over the last 10 years where people have said, hey, this link is broken. We go fix it right away. We take that stuff really seriously. So we appreciate you doing that. Now, also, how does this compare to competitive offerings in this size class? I gotta say, there's some pretty dang good ones in this size class. This is a bigger helicopter that's scaled into a smaller package. So just keep in mind, like for instance, this Bell 206, our Sierra, different competitive offering, okay? Very, very good, flies better, okay? Similar price point, very good. That is scaled down less, which I think lends itself to a slightly better flight experience, okay? That is not always true, by the way, okay? We've done a number of different Blackhawks. The very expensive heli drones are very good. They fly very good. They are absolutely gorgeous. We've done that both in olive drab. We crashed one in olive drab, and then we've also done this, and we've done it in gray.
The Seahawk is back.
So
there.
Those are like 6-8 times more than this.
Yes.
So if you guys are on a budget, you're trying to buy your kid a gift, this might be a better kid gift idea than that. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you're flying it for longer durations, if you wanna be able to fly it in 30-mile-an-hour wind outside, you might need to go up to that. But then there are some middle steps that are inferior to other middle steps, okay? It is subtle and hard to articulate, but I try my best, and I hope you guys can read between the lines, okay? This thing flies on a scale of like the brand new Blade that we just flew, the BO right next to it, which flies amazing, the Huey that flies amazing, the Bell 206 that flies amazing. Those are very expensive helicopters. 25-minute flight times. From a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, a 4,000 milliamp battery. It's just incredible. An 850 milliamp hour battery. You can fly for 9 minutes on that thing. That's gonna teach you to fly a helicopter, okay?
Yep.
This is not, okay? That M4 is a real helicopter, okay? That's gonna teach you to fly a helicopter. That's also like $800+, guys, and could cut your head off if you're really, really, really dumb, okay? This won't cut your head off unless you have a very small head, okay? There's definitely trade-offs to everything, but if your goal is to learn to fly helis, this can help, but it's not gonna help in the sense that it's gonna be a hobby grade flight experience. It's gonna be a takeoff, lean it forward. You can start kind of getting the basics on where to move it, but this does not control the way that an actual helicopter would normally control that's hobby grade, okay? When you get up into these big expensive ones, they fly more like the type that teach you to fly. But even some of those don't do a very good job of it, okay?
But if you flew Black Hawk helicopters earlier on in your life and you don't really have like big aspirations to fly RC, but you want to set something on your desk and say that it can fly, that's amazing.
And you know what's nice about these things? You literally bring them into the office, you park it on the bench, you put this in the drawer with your charger, and then you go to work. And when you're having a bad day, you take this thing out, you take off from your desk, you blow those TPS reports all over the place, you go fly over and annoy the heck out of your coworkers. And that would be awesome, okay? I'm just saying, there's definitely different applications for different products that we bring on this channel, and I can say that this thing is absolutely fantastic looking. It's very small, and I love small aircraft that work inside. This works inside. Is it gonna work outside? Is it gonna flip upside down? Even if it did, I don't care. In fact, that does remind me, I should probably double check that we don't have some stupid fly upside down feature. Let's look at the manual.
Oh, good.
These are always good. Don't light your farts on fire.
Okay, definitely important.
Run away from burning fire. Don't stab lithium, might cause fire. Don't let the hand get to your lithium. This is from the Addams Family.
Okay.
Here's your specs. Gift box. What? Gift box? Okay. We didn't get a gift?
It says it's 107 grams also.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Here.
So it's a sub 250, so you don't need any stupid remote ID. Oh, that's the antenna. Good. So this is left-hand throttle, this is right-hand throttle, okay? So right-hand throttle would typically be called mode 1. The left-hand throttle, like left-hand throttle, this is mode 2, okay? A key takeoff.
Yeah, and landing.
Oh man, speed conversion. Throttle directional rocker. Long press to the right long press to the right to boot. Right and left hand switch. So that's your trim. Power switch. Fine tune keys around. Oh, XK, come on, man.
That's pretty good.
That isn't too bad.
So those other two buttons here at the top don't do anything.
They don't,
They're
not on ours.
And I don't see any invert type of.
Yeah. So this is where they kind of explain all the stuff that we've talked about. Do they say anything about packing? Oh, look, also calibrate to the low right corner. That's what I was looking for. So down and over. So here, let's see. Will it take off again? I doubt it. Let's see if it'll take off again. I doubt it will, but let's try. Down and to the right. Yep, flashy flash. Okay, ready? Ooh, you can cancel the takeoff. So like if it gets part way up, you can cancel. And I gotta say, the calibration, it made a small improvement. I'm gonna land now. Ooh, it's getting pretty.
I can hear it.
Okay, land. Now check this out. I wanna show you what I just learned. Okay, so sticks down and out, arm it, take off. Take off, take off, do it. Okay, so it's evidently dead now. Okay, and did you notice the squishy tires help prevent damage?
They did.
That was awesome. What I learned, and I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this now, so I'll show you the trick again. So press down here first, okay? And then forward, and it just kind of rocks off. Then unplug it. I don't know what the heck we did wrong that first time. I'm guessing I didn't plug it in.
Yeah.
Battery is warm, it's not hot. If it's hot, definitely don't charge it right away. Plug this back in and charge, and then I'm gonna let you guys know that little detail. Okay, so it's charging now. Oh, do you wanna see how dead it was? Because I bet we really made it dead.
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
Meow.
Oh, it's really dead.
We really killed it.
Okay.
So we'll just plug this in and let it charge. Okay, so what have we learned? We've learned that if you press this launch button, the one touch key take off, you can click it halfway and it'll stop going up.
Oh, so you click the button
nice.
again. Okay.
But the last time I did it, it landed because I think we were in low voltage warning, okay? So also you can, to get this back on, rock that in, go under this lip, okay? Capture the wires, make sure you're on the outside and the outside, okay? Okay, snap it in, and you're ready to go. Just make sure you look to the right for any aircraft. Beautiful. All right, there you have it, guys. Good looking K170 Black Hawk helicopter, super scale, super small package, and it does all the things that we want it to do. And the only thing I would suggest is that if you're expecting this thing to be a hobby grade flight experience, you might be a little bit disappointed. Yeah, there's nothing else going on. Okay? All right, so there's the whole manual. So there you have it, guys. Chinese manuals are usually somewhat useless, but we like to show them. And then I do like that it comes with this stand. Let's show that one last time, as it's gonna be sitting for a little bit now. Kind of hard to get that thing in, but it does work. It does go on the stand, and it does look sweet.
It does.
So I gotta say, really good job from XK, the XK K170. Check it out, links in the video description below. If you guys buy it from the links, you help support Brian Phillips RC. If this isn't your cup of tea, head over to brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me if you don't know how to spell my name, which is fine. Don't feel bad, you're not the only one. When you get there, you can sort by type, and we're gonna probably have to make some more helicopter categories because we got lots of helicopters.
There's helicopters, that's all of them, and then there's also brands. So if you click on the XK brand, you'll be able to see this one.
And then by affiliate too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like if you know you want to buy it from this particular website or whatever. Otherwise, it will just go to the website that we're working with at the time.
Yep.
Okay. And anyway, guys, leave it in the comments below if you thought this helicopter did as good as you were expecting, or if you expected more of it. Let us know. We're curious. But also, I just wanted, we had a video the other day, and we got thumbs down, and I think people were thumb downing a product and not necessarily our video. Our video, I mean, I'm not saying it was perfect by any means, but when you evaluate our video, make sure that you understand that the thumbs up have nothing to do with this product. It has to do with our content and how YouTube is going to present it to other YouTube viewers. So if you just like, oh, it's another timber, please don't give us a thumbs down for another timber. But we also understand, give us a thumbs down if you hate the video. We get it. We're not saying don't do that. What we are saying is don't give us a thumbs down because you don't like the Black Hawk. Give us a thumbs down if we did a bad job presenting it, okay? Anyway, but if you did enjoy this, check it out. Links in the video description below. You'll be amazed how cheap it is. And it's cheap enough that you could probably get 2 of them and play with your spouse or whatever and have a good old time. Very cool. And we love these little entry-level toy grade, but still beautiful products. Wish I would have had them. I would have killed for something like this as a kid, okay? And even as a kid, we were starting to get small helicopters, but they were never like this. They were coaxial, so you had a blade above and below, and you maybe didn't have a tail. And then we started to get some pretty good ones as I was like into my early 20s, but they were still incredibly difficult to fly. And then we started to get fly barless, and next thing you know, that brings us up to like the current technology, but it has improved tons in 10 years. So when you're considering it, don't consider too deep. It's not gonna be the first or last heli you buy. Just buy it, enjoy it, put it out as a display piece on your way to the big ones, all right? That's all we got for you. Thanks so much for watching. If we have an outdoor clip, the clip would have let off the video. But if we don't, because we go out and it's just terrible or it doesn't hold up to the wind or whatever, then your estimations have been confirmed. But if we're gonna share it, we'll share that at the beginning. All right, thanks for watching. Guys, leave your comments, questions down below. Don't forget to smash the bell when you're subscribing because we want to notify you about new releases. And they happen all the time here on Brian Phillips RC. In fact, we're getting into spring, and I think we have 3 videos this week potentially. Ooh, it's gonna be a lot of production time, but we're really glad to be bringing it to you because that means that the sun is going to be out for another useful hour. Thank God for daylight savings time. Why does it ever shut off? It's totally beyond me, but daylight savings, come to Brian Phillipsville is coming. Is it tonight?
Tomorrow.
Into tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning?
Into Monday morning.
Into
Or,
Monday.
No,
it's
tonight
into Sunday.
and tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So it's Saturday today.
It'll have already happened by the time you see the video.
By the time you see the video, it's already happened. So smash the like button if you enjoy an extra day of daylight or an extra hour of daylight. All right, guys, that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Come back for more.